Ah, the Doctor, a character who single-handedly proves that no matter how joyful Genshin Impacts may seem, you don't need to dig deep to discover that there is a monster lurking just beneath the surface. Monster, I truly mean it. You see, Mihoyo has a hobby of attempting to redeem characters, but trying to redeem someone like the Doctor, who's killed at least over 100 people and experimented on children, seems like a bit of a stretch. Of his actions in-game and in the manga, his crime list includes... Here we go. First-degree murder, second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, illegal imprisonment, kidnapping, torture, assault and battery, illegal human experimentation, conspiracy, membership in a criminal organization, espionage, sabotage, wrongful death, disfigurement of a corpse, mutilation of a corpse, illegal disposal of human remains, forced labor, crimes against humanity, trafficking, impersonation of an official, undue influence, invasion of serious privacy, drug-induced assault, unlawful administration of a controlled substance, illegal organ trafficking, intimidation, coercion, stalking, criminal threats, cruelty to animals, illegal forced combat, child endangerment, child kidnapping, child abuse, child exploitation, and child neglect. Yeah, I'm sick, bro. So yeah, Brody's been around the block. I mean, he exists in the same game as Klee. So anyway, without further ado, here's the backstory of Genshin Impact's most reprehensible villain, the Doctor.
I'm a phenomenon, stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy.
Dottore, formerly known as Zandik, harbored a lifelong obsession with creating enhanced humans surpassing even the gods. His early ambition may have contributed to his exile from his hometown being labeled a monster and madman, and later admission into Sumeru Academia. His darshan is unmentioned except for his exclusion from Amurta. Zandik participated in an expedition to the ancient city of Jurabad, where he encountered mysterious machines possibly crafted by a civilization not under the Savage rule. Dubbed the Jurabad samples, these findings were incomplete, hampering further research. Another expedition to Ardravi Valley as a trainee Dostor yielded more pieces to complement the Jurabad samples. He believed they could restore a machine's automatic system. Zandik also uncovered Stratnik records linking them to legends about the ruins of Dari. During the jungle exploration, he partnered with a Dostor named Sora. Initially finding Zandik rigid, they eventually bonded over local flora and fauna. They would even end up having picnics together, with Sora noting in her journal that these were great times. What happened next is still a bit murky, but according to records, Zandik acted without authorization for a third time. It goes on to state that Sora was attacked by Rishbalin tigers and suffered serious life-threatening injuries. Right after that, the research team was attacked again by a killing machine that would quickly be disabled by Zandik. His intention to study it further at the Academia was met with stark criticism, leading to his removal from the expedition paper's authors list. Tragically, Sora would eventually die and was buried. After the passage of some time, however, her remains would be exhumed for an autopsy that aimed to reveal a cause of death. As the examination unfolded, a revelation came to light. Amidst the haunting lacerations and bite marks, the unmistakable evidence of a broken hyoid bone exposed the horrifying reality that she had been strangled in her final moments. Eventually, Zandik would find himself in the Apam Woods conducting medical research concerning Elazar. However, when all his child subjects wound up going missing, he suspected the Aranara were behind it and wanted to capture them, as he believed they were the key to enhancing human ability. Zandik would eventually participate in another Elazar case in Darl's Shifa, where he would cure the patient Abbas using materials procured from the remains of other dead patients. The treatment program left Abbas so mentally scarred that he would dig his way out of the hospital in sheer desperation. Despite sitting on the absolute news bomb that Zandik had murdered his colleagues, the Academia had decided they had had enough when records went missing. Imagine being the ghost of Sora. You get murdered, the Academia doesn't care. The records go missing. What has this nigga done, bro? Anyway, as a result, they finally expelled him from the school, you know, the ultimate punishment for murderers. Zandik would be annoyed by this for the sole reason that he now had nowhere to do his experiments. Following his expulsion, he would eventually cross paths with Piero, who invited Zandik to join the Fatui Harbingers, where he would henceforth be known as the Doctor, which he found quite ironic. I mean, he's fucked, but that's kind of funny. Anyway, as a result, the Fatui would take on a larger role in investigating Elazar, where kids like Kale would wind up, have their symptoms suppressed, only to be crippled with anxiety, depression, and PTSD as a result of the process.
That's it! Paimon won't forget this! It's time for some primordial wrath! No! Don't touch me!
A fair trade indeed. Under Piero's orders, Dottore would also infiltrate Dotare Tsuna under an alias and sabotage the furnace, causing it to go berserk. An officer of the furnace, Niwa Hashida, would enter the furnace in an attempt to fix it, but was killed by Dottore, who would cut out his heart and place it in a box. Later, a puppet named Scaramouche, who was friends with Niwa, would find the box. Dottore lied, saying the heart was from a servant that Niwa had killed before running off. Scaramouche became enraged at this apparent betrayal, with both Dottore and Piero taking notice of him. Later on, Dottore would defeat Ursa the Drake all by his lonesome, and for those that don't know, Ursa the Drake was a dragon that was terrorizing Mondstadt for over 1,000 years before Dottore came in and just sort of one-shotted it. As a result, Mondstadt became indebted to the Fatui. As such, Dottore would conduct more human experiments by kidnapping the vulnerable. Scaramouche would eventually join the Fatui, and Dottore would experiment on him, granting him more power beyond what even A gave him, and using him as a basis for the segments that he would create of himself. These segments were all taken from different points of his life. One can be seen at La Signora's funeral, with the segment in the prime of his life burning some tree in some unknown location. When Dottore learned the sages of Sumeru wanted to restore their god, he offered them help, to which they agreed. Dottore also had a renewed interest in the Aranara, but knowing only children could see them, ordered the Fatui to kidnap kids to lure the Aranara. But due to their powers, every time the Aranara got trapped, they would escape and take the kid with them. Aranara based as fuck! Dottore would eventually ambush the Traveler and Nahida, who was disguised as Catherine, by hacking into people's Akasha terminals, making them believe the Traveler is Jesus reborn. This forced Nahida to take action by using her mind to overpower the Akasha terminal, which in turn revealed herself as the god of wisdom to Dottore. Dottore would eventually later try his hand at human picking by asking Tainari to give him Hypatia, as he said he could cure her. But Tainari, sensing something was up, rejected this. I mean, look at those ears.
You thought you could lie to him? Nothing gets past those fucking ears. Nothing.
Later on, another segment of Dottore would eventually confront Nahida and bargain with her in exchange for 2 Gnosis. This is despite the fact that he admitted he could just defeat her and take them by force. What a caring gentleman. In exchange for both the Electro and Dendronosis, he destroyed every segment of himself and clued her in on the rumor that the skies of Teyvat were fake. So that pretty much clues us in on everything this guy has done so far in his entire existence, which is interesting. I mean, to get a greater understanding of how fucked Dottore is, we turn to the manga, where it states he has killed no less than 139 people. That is how many people have died as a result of the experiments he's been involved in. Like, bro, at this point, you're just killing them. You're like, this is just these aren't experiments. You're just killing 139, my nigga. Like, later on, he goes to kill one of his henchmen and like turns him into some like ruined monster hybrid. I mean, this nigga is sick, bro. He's sick. Oh my god. I mean, bro, Dottore, he makes Scaramouche look like Mother Teresa. But Scaramouche was deemed so evil by Chinese players that they were killing their pets for just looking like him. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future if Dottore, ever ends up becoming playable. I'd like him to be playable. But, we'll see, bro. Hey, we'll see, man.